Jeff Pape, and I'm going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, but I'm going to make it more difficult by using just free tools. Before I talk about search engine optimization, I wanted to talk about my background or give you a little bit about my background. I'm a licensed CPA here in the state of Illinois for the last 25 years, or for over 25 years. I have a Bachelor of Science in Accountancy from the University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, as well as an MBA from Kellogg's Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management with a focus in operations and marketing. I've been quoted in several news media outlets, as well as appeared on national TV with CBS News with Scott Pelley, as well as I've been a guest speaker at the Illinois CPA Society, Elmhurst Chamber of Commerce, E-Tail, Internet Retailer, Kellogg, and the University of Maryland. So what I wanted to talk about today, we're going to talk about Google primarily, but this applies mostly to other search engines as well. The tools had to be free, so I made it a little bit more challenging. And then I made it even more challenging that the tools actually had to be already on most computers. We're going to do some keyword research, we're going to do some web page research, as well as we're going to do some competitor research. So let's open up a Google page. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a fictitious company that competes in the running shoes space. So what we'll do is we'll do a search for running shoes, and we'll kind of take a look at the results. Now if you look at this first screen, it's all ads, and the second screen is almost all ads with a few organic listings here. So we're going to have to scroll all the way down to the third page almost, and we're going to skip Nike for the purposes of this demonstration. We're going to focus on Runner's World, this number 2 listing. Now we're also going to pick number 3 because it's actually the same company, or same website. So Runner's World and Runner's World. So we're going to do 2 and 3. And actually by looking at both, there's actually some interesting things to take away from them. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that your keyword search is something you want to look at. So if you just go to Google and you type in Google Trends, go figure, it's the number 1 listing. And what it'll do is this will give you an idea of the keywords that you should or shouldn't work with. Now, for example, I know running shoes probably is going to get more searches than Nike running shoes, just because Nike running shoes is more specific search term. And for good measure, we'll just throw in another brand, ASICS running shoes as well. And what you see here is the blue line shows running shoes, the red line shows Nike, and the yellow line shows ASICS. Now what you can do is scroll down here, and then you can flip through these queries. It actually gives you some other ideas on some more search terms, as well as for Nike and ASICS. Now one tool that's free, that's chances are it's on your computer already, is the snipping tool. So if you just search your programs for snipping tool, this tool will come up, then you can copy it. And I already started building a page here, but let's just say we copy and paste it. Now I'm not going to do that for 50 times or for all the other keywords that we could do, but you get the idea, and you can build a list of potential keywords to look up at a later date. So now that we feel pretty comfortable that we are that we confirmed our thoughts within Google Trends, we'll go back to our search engine listing. And what I wanted to kind of talk about was the different areas of the search engine listing. So this right up here, this www Runner's World Gear, that's the URL. Now Google actually makes it look better than it actually is because it strips out one of the directories. This is the title tag. Now this is what you control. Um, Google's not going to change this, at least from what I've seen. Um, Typically, you can tell it what the title tag is, and it will use that. Now, for this particular page, the description tag, it modifies. And what you'll find is it actually pulls these keywords from the web page. I actually think in this particular case, it does a better job than what Runner's World did, and that's probably why Google overrode what Runner's World did. Now, the same thing here. You have the keyword running shoes, as well as you have it up here, best running shoes, and you also have running shoe up here. So here you have it stuffed twice. Here you only have it stuffed once. And then this is the description tag, and this is actually what Runner's World asked it to be. Okay, so now what you can do is we'll take a look at these two different pages, and what you'll find is they're actually built pretty differently. So we'll just do a quick scroll through. So this one actually is pretty long. And if you look, there's a lot of content, a lot of imagery, as well as a lot of text. So how can you tell there's a lot of text? If you hit the word or Control A, that's basically select all. You'll find out what it thinks is text or what it knows is text, and that's going to be what's in here, unlike most shoes. And then this is an image. So sometimes your graphic designers will build this text as an image, and Google likes to see text versus images. So if you see this and it looks like this image, then chances are your graphic designer made this page an image and not text. So let's take a look at this page that ranks number 3, and you'll see it's actually quite a bit different. If you scroll through, there's significantly less, it's much shorter page, as well as there's significantly less text. So if we do our Control A trick, you can see there's almost no text on here other than the names of the posts. So there's almost no text. And what I suspect here is this particular page probably ranks well because it has a lot of links to either this main category page, which tends to rank well, or the sub pages. So if this particular sub page gets a lot of links, then it will tend to rank better. So now let's get kind of in the technical aspect of what we're going to talk about today. And what you can do is you can just click on the page, and we're going to look at the longer page, the page that ranks better. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can hit Control or right click and then click Web Page Source. Or what you can do is hold the key Control and then hit the word U, and that'll pull up this the page source. Now what you're going to want to do, and what I would recommend doing, is looking for the title tag. Now if you scroll through this code, it can be pretty intimidating, but what you can use is another keyboard shortcut called Control F, and that pulls up the find function. And what you can do is search for the word title. Now unfortunately the word title appears 342 times. The good news is you're actually looking for the title up towards the top. So generally it's up towards the top of the screen. And in this case, there's no, that's not, that's what happens. So what the title tag is, so you can close this box, it's running shoes, runner's world. And that's basically what you see over here, running shoes, runner's world. And if you want to find it in the text, it's right here. And what I'll do is I'll explain these other two things here. But what I would do is copy this and I'd put it in our document. Okay, and we're actually looking at the third page. So a couple comments about this, or the third ranking, I should say. And the other thing too is if you look at the description tag, and right below it is the word keywords. So this is left over from old coding. If you notice, the keywords is blank, and that's the way it should be. For the description tag that I copied and pasted, this should look familiar. This is exactly what Google picked up on. So what they did is they followed exactly what Runner's World wanted to do. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one here. So we'll go to this page and we'll hit Control U just to show you how you can pull it up. We'll do the same thing, Control F, and then we'll do the word title. Now this one appears 189 times. And this one, best running shoes, so the same thing. I would copy and paste this, as well as the description is right here. And this is where you'll notice that Google actually changed it. So Runner's World felt it should be from cushioned and lightweight to comfy and stable. And Google said, no, 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 I think there is a better description. Also, what's great about this page is there's no keywords. So if you have a website and you're talking to an SEO guy and they give you, or girl, and they give you a page and it has the content with keywords in it, you can pretty much move on. I would not recommend working with them. So what we can also do to deconstruct this page is look at the H1 tags. And what I would do is just do a search for H1, open caret, and then H1. And right here, I would just copy and paste this under this page, because now we're working with the second page. Let's get back to that. And what you'll do is you'll also go to H2, and here's the H2 tags. And I would copy and paste these H2 tag under there, as well as you can look for the other H2. And then let's see if there's any H3s on here. And H3 is right here. So I would copy and paste that into our document as well. So basically this has a very nice structure with H1 telling it, hey, this is the main heading. H2, this is a subheading. And then H3 is a very specific running shoe. Now what you can also do is you can use that Control F when you go back to the page, and you can do the search for the word running shoes. And in this case, it comes up 15 times. What you'll notice is it doesn't seem like it's actually keyword stuff. So for example, pick up your trail pace in Brooks Catamount. It doesn't have the word stuffed running shoes at the end of it. So not every running shoe is actually called a running shoe. So it seems like they're being careful to not stuff too many keywords, which makes sense because this page actually does rank pretty well. Okay, so that's the technical side of things as far as a web page. Now I wanted to kind of show you a couple Google queries. Some queries don't work as well as they used to, but this one still does. So if you go back to Google and type in the word site:runnersworld.com, so that's the URL that we're working with. And if you notice up here, the Google thinks that we might be the webmaster, and it's beyond the scope of this presentation. But it's kind of a unique search, and it thinks you're probably related to Runner's World. Little do they know you're not related to Runner's World, and you're trying to deconstruct some of their stuff they're doing. So what happens here is this will show you their site searches, and we could actually change the settings here to display more search results. So when you scroll, it just shows 10. But right now I have it set to 10. And then you can see the content that they created as well as what they did with their search terms, descriptions, and titles. One critique, if you're Runner's World listening to this right now, is you don't need to stick probably Runner's World at the end of every one of these. Runner's World, Runner's World, Runner's World. Because you're going to rank well for the word Runner's World because it's in your domain. Okay, and then this one, I just wanted to show you. It's an old link operator within Google. It doesn't work as well as it used to. However, it still can give you some good ideas of some links to look at. So if you type the word in quotes, link colon quote, runnersworld.com/runners running shoes, you can find links to this particular URL. And then what I do is I pull out the words runnersworld.com because we don't want links from Runner's World to this particular page. And what we actually did here is there's one that popped up towards the top, and it does look like a link farm or a link listing, which may or may not be a great place to get a link from. At least Google doesn't recommend it. But Runner's World does have a link from this site. And we can look at a couple other links as well. There was a link from, where was it? I think the New York Daily News had a link. And so there's other ways to find some links for free. It's not ideal, but again, it's a free tool and you already have it on your computer. If you were looking to do some other more expensive research, there definitely is more expensive tools to find to get link ideas. So this wraps up what I wanted to talk about today. Want to thank you for attending, and we talked about some keyword research for free using free tools, some page research, as well as some competitor research and some link research. What I'd love you to do is take a minute and subscribe to our videos, leave a comment, leave a question. I'll answer any questions I can. Thank you, and best of luck in learning more about your competitors and building an awesome website.